Myself, Dr. Kiran, working in Oxford College of Science, Department of Biotechnology. So today I will be reading about growing energy needs and uses of alternative energy. So coming to the energy, we all know that energy consumption is a very important aspect to nation because without energy we can't even use any of the instruments or any of the equipment which is being currently used. So we all know that basically energy is being formed from renewable source or non-renewable source, but still there is a thirst between the use of energy. So we'll come to know about the energy importance when there is a more need. This is because of some of the developmental activities and which are directly or indirectly depend upon the energy. So starting even from the cooking and any of the purpose, we need the energy. So we have to conserve energy and we have to balance the source of renewable and non-renewable energy. So also the energy is being presented which is being used in many ways like wind energy or thermal energy or solar energy. Many other forms of energy can be used. So today we'll be discussing much about growing energy needs and the use of alternative energy. Because nowadays the sector for growing energy need is because of agriculture or industry or mining, or transportation, even starting from cooking or eating, all those things we require energy levels. But the thing is like somewhere we are using the non-renewable energy, but we have to maintain between the renewable and non-renewable. So the important aspects which it comes to growing energy need is by using the renewable energy source. So like the fossil fuels, coal, oil, natural gas, which is presently supply 95% of commercial energy throughout the world resource, and many are still yet to come. So, like I said, like our lifestyle changes very fast from simple way life to shifting a luxurious lifestyle. In that, we'll be having many of the sectors, and we are using many of the electronic gadgets in homes and a number of private cars which has been come. So all this we require energy, but still, it has been known that we have to come with alternative source for the need of energy. So we all know that, for example, if I give the renewable natural resources, we have wood energy or solar or wind energy or tidal energy or hydropower energy, and even geothermal energies can also be used as an renewable resource. As if we come to the non-renewable energy, we have very limited forms of energy like coal, petroleum, natural gas, and nuclear fuels like uranium and thorium. So once this non-renewable energy is existed, then we can't use it or we should depend on the renewable energy. So the main need for growing the energy level is by using the renewable energy. We have to make it use of all those like wind or solar or power. We have to make use of those things. So as I said, use of alternative energy, there are many techniques so that we can save our renewable source of energy. So for example, if I give solar energy, nowadays the world itself it has been using more amount of solar energy in the form of different things like solar panels. They are using solar panels or alternative solar geysers and even some of the solar cookers. Many of the things are being used widely. So, like solar energy can be used or collected in the form of two types of collectors, like passive solar collectors or active solar collectors. So, wherein which the like passive solar collectors, they will be having a natural material which absorbs heat during the day and release the heat at the night. For example, if I say like stones and bricks, if it will heat up in the morning, daytime, and it will release us the energy during the night. And if we come to the active solar collectors, the active solar collectors are unit of black surface which absorbs heat and are placed on the top of the building. As I said, like solar panels. So, like solar panels, these are the two different types of solar panels which you are seeing here, like heat pipe solar collectors or standard type solar collectors. The thing is like as if the light falls on the solar panels, the black carbon things which is been present in the solar panels, which will absorb the light and it will forms and it will convert the solar energy into an electrical energy. So as I said, solar cells, this also plays a very important role in preserving the renewable energy. The solar cells, which are made up of photovoltaic cells or photoelectric cells, which is being made up of gallium and silicon. So these two materials, which plays a major role in converting the photoelectric energy into sunlight, the light which is felt on these two materials will directly convert the electricity and it will liberate the energy electricity which is being stored in these cells. A group of solar cells which has been widely used are, for example, calculators, electronic watches, satellites, and radio stations, and also nowadays the cars is also is been in the market, and also the solar lanterns which has been existing. So these all materials or these all gadgets which I said, which will take up the solar energy directly, and this gallium and silicon which will convert the electric form of energy and easy way. So this is how a small example I am stating that how the solar cells which is being placed on the roof, which will helps to take up the solar energy and it will connect into electrical energy. The things we require here are like the solar panels, which is made up of photovoltaic, and it's made up of gallium and other things. So here, as soon as the sunlight which falls on the roof, it will the gallium which will convert the cells which is placed inside. It will be passed on to the control charger, and then these controllers will be connected to the battery. So that these batteries will store the electrical energy, and through the help of inverters, it will be passed on to entire living area or entire home. So this is how the mechanic, how the working of solar cells which is placed in the roof will be converted into electrical energy for the daily use purpose. And these are the examples which you can see earlier in the roof. It has been empty and like it will be filled like cements or any of the designs. But nowadays, the industry or any of the upcoming developed countries, they are making use of these solar panels and it also looks like attractive. So you can see that the house is completely filled of the solar panels. So here even there is no need of electric supplies, but the electric is being converted by the solar, which is being used directly to the entire home. Not only that, even in the empty spaces which we where we found that, like the case study show that the solar park which is been adopted in Banskar district near Gujarat and Pakistan border, so they have been planting these solar panels to make use of renewable energy and to provide the electricity for the respective area. And the next example I can say about the solar water heater. So nowadays we are depend mainly on the geysers, electric geysers. So in that case, what happens? We'll be using more and more of energy which is being used. In spite of that, if we can think of the solar water heaters, so it is made up of inside the box. It is made up painted with black paint, and it is being covered with the copper coil, so through which the cold water is made into the flow and it will be converted into the geysers, and it will give the energy source so that the water which is being passed into these panels will be easily heated up. So this is how the mechanism where I used to say that solar energy which is passed on to the panels will directly pass it on to the boilers. So once the boilers is connected with the supply of water, so these panels will be interlinked so that the water which is being flowed will be flowed on all the horizontal ways. So once it is being passed into the horizontal ways, because of the radiation which is absorbed by the solar, it will be converting into the electrical energy and it will turn up into the solar water heater. And the first solar water plant which is being installed in Gurgaon, Haryana, which is having 50 kilowatt capacity. So that this is much enough to make it use of the conversion of cold water into the hot water. So the Haryana Renewable Energy Development Agency has decided to set up three solar power projects of 225 kilowatts capacity in Gurgaon district, so that it will help to all the commercial or industrial establishments of solar energy, and also it is of eco-friendly. So this is how the project they have made in Gurgaon. So we can see that in the entry place that it is been completely filled up with the solar panels, so that they are making use of renewable energy alternative source, and it will make up all the energy which is being used. And this is one more example in the worldwide, like San Francisco solar power plant. Even it is adopted a huge number of solar panels in the empty space, and also solar power plant in southern France. Even this you can see that this has been aligned in a symmetrical way, so that towards hectares together, so that it can be used for the conversion of solar energy into electrical energy. So now coming to the wind energy, so even the wind energy plays a major role for alternative source for renewable energy, because the wind plays an important role. If the wind speed is of 15 kilometer per hour, it will take up the wind blades will be circulated, or it is being started by the help of the huge uh, windmills. You can see that there is horizontal axis turbine, so it is being connected directly to the generators. Once the wings, which is being rotated in the clockwise direction, this wind energy will be converted, and the turbines will be continuously run, so that once the turbine runs, it will generate the mechanical energy. Later, it will be converted into the electrical energy. So this electrical energy will be connected into the transmission line, so that the transmission line will be passed down to the respective area. And one more example I can give: wind energy generation in the small scale. So these turbines, small turbines, can also be installed in the rooftop if the speed is of 15 kilometers per hour. So this energy will be converting for the use of small equipments like lighting. All those things can be used. And if I give one more example, hydropower carbons, uh, through water we can make use of energy. For example, if you look into any of the dams, the water capacity will be stored in the reservoir. Once the water is stored, when it reaches the maximum level, so in that purpose the water will be let off. So during the water let, we can see that the gate which is being installed with the huge turbine. So once the water will fall, the shaft will be connected to the generator. So during that time, the shaft will slowly starts to rotate inside the gates. Once the shaft rotates, then it is connected to the generator. The generator will make use of the turbines, and it will starts to produce the electrical energy. So as soon as the amount of water is being passed down, so that the turbines will be continuously rotating. So during that time, it is been generating the energy levels. So these turbines and generators, which will be directly connected to the transmission lines, so that once it starts circulating continuously, the generator will produce the electricity. Then the electric line will catch on, and it will be passed on to the respective area. And one more alternative use of energy is like tidal power. So these tidal powers mainly, which is being in two types: high tide and low tide. This refers when there is a rise and fall of water in the oceans. So here you can see that the tide, once the tide which comes in and which goes out, so during that time, the shafts or the turbines which is placed here, which is being directly connected to the generator, and this generator is connected to the electricity line. Once the turbine starts to rotate, or else we can easily say as a shaft which is being placed horizontal in the sea. So once the water flow is towards inside and once it goes out, so during that time the shaft will be raised. The high tide, when there is the level of sea level is moved, so during that time the high tide will work more. So during low tide, so water will be reservoired in the dams, and then you can see that the turbines will be continuously running. As per the case study, the Gulf of Kutch and Gulf of Cambe is the one thing which have been installed this tidal energy, and they are making use of this electrical energy. Then coming to the biomass energy, so this biomass is an organic matter, we all know that, and it is being made up of plants or animals, and which also includes wood or crop residues or cattle manure or sewage or agriculture waste. Those all will fall into the biomass. So this all will be having a energy until unless it is being used in a proper way. We can't make it up. So how we will use the biomass? So energy plantation, the solar energy is trapped by the green plants through photosynthesis and it will be converted into energy later. But here the energy plantation means we have to plant the trees like which will be growing fast. For example, like cottonwood, and even if you take examples like herbaceous grasses, we can think of even small plants like sugarcane and sugar beet, and also some of the aquatic weed like plants, hyacinth and seaweeds. All those things will be having high energy level. So this energy can be used and they can be converted into the electrical energy by burning them directly or getting converted into burnable gases by the process called fermentation. And the petrol crops and agriculture and urban waste biomass, all those things will be having high hydrocarbons. When this is being burnt or when it is given under high pressure of temperature, so during that process the oil will be extracted easily, and those through fermentation or any of the process, those oils can be easily extracted and can be used as a biomass. And these are the type of biomass which you are seeing, like wood fuel or any of the waste products like rubbish, and even the alcohol production through any of the sugar-oriented fruits, and also crops and landfill gases. All those type of biomasses which has been very rich in the conversion of the biomass into the electrical energy. And coming to the biogases, few of the biogases like methane or carbon dioxide or hydrogen sulfide will be having a high biogas energy and it has an high efficiency. So basically these biogas are produced by anaerobic degradation of animals waste in the presence of water, and anaerobic degradation means breaking down of organic matters by the presence of bacteria and in the absence of oxygen. So during this phase the pressure will be created, and you can see that the because of lacking of oxygen the anaerobic degradation of these organic matters will be taken care by the bacteria, which is in the absence of oxygen. And these biogas are non-polluting and also clean and also have a low cost fuel. So which is being widely used in the rural areas. So in India, as per the statistics, more than 240 millions of population are depend on the cattle populations. And nowadays, these cattle waste or manures which is being used widely can be used as an biogas. We all know that the biogas which is having clean and it is non-polluting and it's also very cheap. These constructions of biogas usually can be done in two methods. One is floating gas holder type and one more is fixed dome type. So here you can see that the slurry or the cattle dung and water is being mixed accordingly, and it is being passed through the pipe from the exterior tank which is placed in the ground level. So mixing of this slurry of the cattle dung and water will be let inside to the floating gas holder biogas plant. So once it is done, so slowly in the absence of oxygen, this bacteria will degrade all the organic matters and the biogas is being released. So this biogas which is being released can be directly connected to the outlet wall so that easily we can extract the gas, and also this spent slurry will be overflowed and this can be used as a manure. So it is been mutually means in the type of both conservation we can use of gas as well as the agriculture waste. And you can see in the fixed dome type, the slurry is being passed directly into the biogas chamber, which is being, you can clearly see that it is being digged inside, and the slurry will be converted in the underground digester tank, and after several time of duration, the slurry will be taken out and outlet wall will be filled. So in this biogas outlet wall is being connected inside to the biogas. The air which is being provided, the biogas will be easily extracted and that gas will be used as a form of energy. And one more example is like biofuels. We all know that biofuels nowadays we are coming with some of the ethanol products or methanol products and even gasanols or methanolic products. All those biofuels which are being used widely can be having rich energy source. So, for example, if I say ethanol, it is produced from the carbohydrate-rich substance like sugarcane, or corn, or sorghum, or jowar. So, it is also a non-polluting and it has a high calorific value, but it has lesser than the petrol, and the heat producers will be much lesser than the petrol. And coming to the gasols, it is commonly used in Brazil and Zimbabwe for running the cars and buses. In India too, we have the gasols is planned to be used on trials in the different part of the country like Kanpur and many other states. And methanol is one more biofuels which is being used in the gasolines or diesels mixed along with it, and thus the bulk radiator may be substituted by sleek designs in our cars. And this methanol is also clean and non-polluting fuel. This methanol can be easily obtained from woody plants, and methanol from the, it also extracted from the grains based on the sugar contents. This is how like biofuels which has been widely used. You can see that all the industries or the doing transportations, these biofuels play an important role. So that mixing along with the petrol, these biofuels will be having less environmental pollution, and also the mileage wise it is been increased, and also by use of few of the bacteria or any of the enzymes, these sugars can be converted into the methanolic products. And once this product is being evolved, it can be used in different parameters like feedstock or transportation or processing and conversions. All those conversions will be done. Finally, we will get the biofuels. And thank you.